Polestar 4 versus Polestar 2. Yes guys, you knew this video was coming and a lot of people are probably waiting for this video. So if you like this video, if you like this comparison, please drop a thumbs up down below. And if you don't want to miss out on all the cool content I have on new EVs and also the test I have on electric cars, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And also, it's only a few days after launch. We don't have all the information on the Polestar 4 yet. We don't know what the different variants will cost. We don't know what the option packages will cost. We don't have all the specs about performance and stuff like that, but we're going to try to do as good of a job as possible. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I think starting with the size is the best place to start, so we really get a sense of these two cars and how big and small they are compared to each other. You know, the press release really doesn't talk too much about the size and how much bigger it is compared to the Polestar 2, and also the photos and videos don't really show that. So I think starting with that will really give us a sense of these two cars. So the Polestar 2 is 4,607 millimeters long, it's 1,859 millimeters wide without the mirrors, and it's 1,985 millimeters wide with the mirrors. So that means the mirrors are 126 millimeters wide in total, counting both of them. It's 1,479 millimeters high with a wheelbase of 2,735 millimeters and a ground clearance of 151 millimeters. Then we have the Polestar 4, which is 4,839 millimeters long. The width is cited to be 2,139 millimeters, but that is with mirrors. From the photos, it looks like it has the exact same identical mirrors to the Polestar 2. So if you use that as a reference, this is not going to be 100% accurate, but good enough. Then we subtract 126 millimeters from that width, which gives us a width without the mirrors of 2,013 millimeters. And if we look at the Zeekr 001, which this car is based on, it's pretty close to that. That has a width of 1,999 millimeters. So somewhere in between 2,013 and 1,999 millimeters wide. And then the height is 1,544 millimeters with a wheelbase of 2,999 millimeters. Again, we don't have numbers for the ground clearance, but the Zeekr 001 with air suspension has adjustable ground clearance between 117 millimeters and 205 millimeters. So we can assume that the ground clearance is going to be somewhere in between there, 150, 160, 170 millimeters. Looking at the numbers, we can see that the Polestar 4 is bigger in every dimension compared to the Polestar 2. So it's 232 millimeters longer, 154 millimeters wider, 65 millimeters taller, with a wheelbase of 264 millimeters more. All of these numbers means that the Polestar 4 is substantially bigger than the Polestar 2. Before we jump into the specs and really compare these two cars in detail, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Zaptec, with their Zaptec Go home charger. The Zaptec Go is a small, cool, and stylish home charger that can charge up to 22 kilowatts on AC charging. You can also use it with every electric car on the market, including a Tesla. It actually won Best in Test in the Norwegian Automobile Association's test in 2022 of home chargers. So if you want to support the channel or just want to have one of the best home chargers on the market, go to the link down below, find your country, click there and order one. Now let's take a look at the different versions, battery pack sizes, performance, range, and pricing. And again, we don't have all the numbers for the Polestar 4, but I've done some research and used the numbers from the Zeekr 001, which till now have shown to be identical to the new Polestar 4 when it comes to the numbers we do have. So starting with the Polestar 2, comes in 4 different versions. Standard range single motor with rear wheel drive, 272 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.4 seconds with a 67 kilowatt hour battery pack. That's the usable capacity, and a peak charging speed of 135 kilowatts. WLTP rated range 518 kilometers, starting at 49,000 euros. Then we have the long range single motor, rear wheel drive, 299 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.2 seconds, 78 kilowatt hour usable battery, 205 kilowatts of peak charging speed, and a WLTP rated range of 654 kilometers. That car starting at 53,000 euros. Then we have the long-range dual motor, that's all-wheel drive, 421 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.9 seconds. Usable battery capacity, same 78 kilowatt hours. same peak charge speed of 205 kilowatts, 591 kilometers of WLTP rated range, and a starting price of 57,000 euros. Then we have the performance version, again all-wheel drive, 476 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.2 seconds, and the rest of the numbers identical except for the price, which is 64,000 euros. Then we have the Polestar 4, and again we don't have all the numbers, so what I'm using to fill in the blanks here are the numbers from that Zeekr 001 that this car is closely related to, because if we look at the long-range dual motor versions of both of these two cars with the same battery pack size, the output is the same, the performance is the same, so we're going to use that as a basis. So the Polestar 4 starts as a long-range single motor with rear-wheel drive, 272 horsepower, and a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time of 6.9 seconds. 96 kilowatt hour usable battery, 200 kilowatts of peak charging speed, and a WLTP rated range of 600 kilometers, and a starting price of 60,000 euros. Then we have the long-range dual motor, all-wheel drive, 544 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds, same specs on the battery, but this has a WLTP rated range of 560 kilometers, and we don't know the starting price. But if we look at the long-range single motor and long-range dual motor versions of the Polestar 2, the price difference is around 4,000 euros. So 4,000 euros here, maybe, so I'm guessing maybe 64,000 euros, maybe 65,000 euros. And then we have the performance version, which actually doesn't give any more performance. It's just a performance pack like we had on the Polestar 2 a few years ago, pre-facelift, where you didn't get any more power output. And I think the difference in price between the pack and non-pack with the same performance was around 5,000 euros, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm guessing the performance version here with all those niceties is going to cost 69 or 70,000 euros. The exterior styling of these two cars are related but also very, very different. Where the Polestar 2 is from the last generation, the Polestar 4 is, well, moving forward. The Polestar 2 was actually a Volvo 40.2 concept alongside the Volvo XC40 concept called the 40.1 concept. So it was never meant to be a Polestar at first. They redesigned it, did a few differences when Polestar became its own country and, you know, split from Volvo. So it kind of carries a little bit of that Volvo vibe, a lot of that Volvo vibe. So in my opinion, it's stylish, it's timeless, it's a very, very good design. I see them on the road every day, and every time I see one, especially from the front with those lights, that wide front, I'm like, yeah, that's a really good looking car. It's also a hatchback, so arguably more practical, and also has a rear window. Looking at the Polestar 4, they call it an SUV coupe. I don't know why, because it's the saloon. It doesn't have, you know, a hatch like the Polestar 2. So it's really just a little bit taller version of the Polestar 2 that's also a little bit bigger. But when it comes to the design, I also think this is sleek. It's moving forward. It's much more aerodynamic. Will it, you know, age as well as the Polestar 2's design? I'm not sure, but it's quite simple and elegant. So I'm guessing this is going to look really stunning in real life. Then lastly, we have the interior. Starting with the Polestar 2, I'm a fan of the Polestar 2's interior, especially at its price point. It's really high quality compared to anything else, and also the different layers of materials and the interesting differences in design really makes it feel more expensive and more special. It doesn't look like anything else in the Polestar or Volvo lineup, so I really do like it. It's very different from the XC40, which it shares a platform with. So I'm a huge fan of the Polestar 2's design, but what's not that great about the Polestar 2 is the cramped interior front cabin, especially for taller people with long legs. Yeah, people complain about that car being small. For me, it's fine. I'm 5'10" or 178 centimeters, but I just barely fit to be comfortable. I can understand that people 6 foot or taller think it's cramped, but the rear seats, I don't really fit. The headroom is too shallow. It's also very dark and cramped. Then we have the Polestar 4, which from the photos, and since it's based on that Zeekr 001 with the same wheelbase, it's going to be much more airy, much more roomer, and with a really big back seat. So I think there's going to be night and day difference when it comes to the interior capacity, especially the rear seats in the Polestar 4 and Polestar 2. And also materials from the photos look to be a level or two higher. So at the end of the day, the Polestar 4 is just much more car, longer, bigger, more range, faster, more powerful, bigger interior, nicer materials than the Polestar 2 at a higher starting price. There's a little bit of overlap when it comes to the more expensive versions here, but I think in time the Polestar 2's pricing is going to come down a little bit to build a bigger gap. But it's really nice to see that Polestar now has a car that fills that gap, which is, you know, a little bit more expensive, a little bit more premium. I hope the ride is massively improved, and also the NVH levels, because those two things are maybe the biggest complaints with the Polestar 2 in my opinion. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Which one do you like best, the Polestar 4 or the Polestar 2, interior, exterior, and also the pricing? And which of these two cars have you planned on getting? So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.